Well, it's election time again, so time for more candidate conversations. Right now I have on the air with me Patti McLEAN. She is running for Mason County Assessor. Hi, Patti.
Hello, Jeff.
Thanks for coming on, talking with me, talking with us about the race and the position. First things first, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be the Assessor of Mason County.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate this opportunity. My name is Patti McLEAN, and I'm running for Mason County Assessor. Currently, I feel the taxpayers in Mason County deserve more. I don't think they're getting full customer service, and I think I can, accomplish that. I'm reliable, dependable. I know the job inside and out, and I've had a support system, encouraging me to run so we can get better customer service and out to the taxpayers.
I know that that's one of the main concerns that we hear when it comes to the county budget and how different departments over the years have had to really make hard decisions when it comes to the different offices, and the assessor is no different. So tell me about what your current understanding is with how the office works, the amount of staff there, and what you think would be a good number to move through all these assessments and get and do good work for the folks in the county.
Well, I think there needs to be a working assessor in the office. It is the shortest or the smallest staff I've seen since I was there. I started in 1991. There was almost, I think, right around 20 to 22 employees. Currently, I think there's 8 or 9. The appraisal staff has diminished down to just 3 or 4 field appraisers, 1 board appeal appraiser, and a chief appraiser. I think we need to get our appraisal levels, our staffing levels back up more, because it is a big job and a big workload. Currently, I'm working at Grays Harbor Assessor's Office. I'm accredited appraiser now, so I can go into the field and help with inspections to get them caught up. There needs to be some standard operating procedures put in place and followed. Currently, there's just kind of every year, it's a new system getting built. It's a system that, if worked correctly, it's efficient. And so if you can get the data in there efficiently and timely, it'll return faster assessments, timely, and less disputes.
So let's talk about Grays Harbor and some of the things that are going on there that you think are going well, that you'd like to try to implement here in Mason County.
Currently in Grays Harbor, their appraisal staff is still responsible for setting a sales analysis in the area that they're assigned to. Mason County right now, the appraisers that go into the field are only data collecting. The chief appraiser sets the values for all the land throughout the county statistically. I think the appraisers, when they do their 1/6 inspection, they need to do their own sales analysis and be responsible. They're appraisers, not just data collectors. So then the other 5/6 of the county could be done by chief appraiser, sales analysis in a timely manner. So
the county of Mason is quite wide and diverse. There's a lot of pockets with areas with homes that have high property values. There are sections of the county where there are low property values. So when you become assessor, if you're out talking with the public or the public comes in to you, how do you best explain the ways that the parcels are assessed and talk with them through any grievances that they may have?
Well, I do think that taxpayers in Mason County need a better understanding in how the process works, because it's driven by market value. And you're right, there is all kinds of different properties in Mason County. I see it in Grays Harbor also. There's ocean front, versus here is only canal and saltwater. So it's the same in Grays Harbor versus here. I think if everything gets put in the system correctly on each parcel, it'll be efficient enough to know how to handle each property. I've had concerned taxpayers since the notices went out on the 24th contact me from North Mason all the way down to Lake Nowatso and Matlock. So it seems like the west end of the county, the values went kind of down a lot overall, where the north end went high. So both sets of parties are a little bit confused as the difference, and I try to explain the sales and how they arrive at the value. However, the ones in North Mason, they just fought a board appeal and they won, and so now their values instantly put back up to what the assessor set it at prior to their appeal. Folks on the west end, that's where I live, the values went down, and I have concerned people, they're wanting to sell their property, and with such a hot market, I couldn't understand. And I told him I would try to analyze a little bit more to see why they went down. Fawn Lake folks, some of their lot values went almost in half. My mother-in-law lives out there, and she was really concerned about that. So I think as long as we get some education out to the taxpayers and how everything's arrived, and use the online tools to see how the values are set. But yes, they need to call the office to see how their value has arrived and make sure all the attributes to the parcels are correct. If you have some not buildable portion, if the county was unaware of it, it needs to be entered correctly and adjusted accordingly. If you have some steep bank, maybe it wasn't noted also. But I think overall, I think a lot of taxpayers are confused with their assessments right now. So I'm trying to kind of get a bottom line for that.
On the assessor's website, there is a section that talks about what is assessed, and they mention real property versus personal property. Can you explain to me what those mean in layman's terms between real property and what personal property would be, and how those would be differently assessed or just assessed in general?
Real properties are parcels, property of land, just defined by a legal description. Anything above and beyond the, improvement to the land is an improvement. So your house, septics, and could be in your improvement value. So land is arrived at, in Mason County, they do a sales analysis on acreage size and like view, lakefront, waterfront, high bank. So any comparable neighborhoods to your parcel would be set, the sales would set the value for those. Houses are what it would cost to build your house today. That same size, quality and condition minus depreciation. So a lot of people are confused, like with mobile homes. They said, how can they appreciate? Well, if you keep it up, and you maintain it, it's going to hold its value. Personal property is like businesses. They're tangible property that they're assessed on. So it's more business related.
Okay. When it comes to the work in the assessor's office and making sure all the valuations are as accurate as possible, it sounds like there is a little bit of a lag time to catch up to the current real estate markets. If that's the case, how or do you need to have a quicker turnaround on assessing valued properties, especially if people want to sell?
Well, with the laws and the mandates set by the Department of Revenue, we have to have a timeline to stop looking at sales. So your 2019 assessment does go out of market pretty fast.
Right.
They have to stop looking at sales in 2017. They review them in 18 for 19's taxes. Versus a fee appraisal can use current, yesterday's sale versus we cannot. So that's a state mandate by the Department of Revenue for setting values. So,
what are some of the other ways that folks are using, and maybe it's in Grace Harbor or other conversations you've had, new technologies, new computer systems that help to streamline, especially if you're going from higher staffing levels that you're familiar with in Grace Harbor to less than 10 here in Mason County?
Well, the computer system in Grace Harbor, we just went on the same system as Mason County. So I'm like in year 2 of conversion versus I was almost at year 6 in Mason County. So I'm helping train their folks also with the system and how to implement it to be efficient. Once every parcel is in there correctly, there's 58,000 roughly parcels in Mason County. Grace Harbor has about 65,000. Until each one of them is touched and put on the rolls correctly, then it'll be efficient enough to just kind of do a sales analysis and update the land values accordingly.
Is this, the next question here, is this, does this information come down from the state, or is this a county-by-county basis, determining the values of new construction and determining the values of major improvements to existing businesses, like if they add on another wing to a facility? How do you come to determine those types of values?
So right now we just finished up new construction in Grace Harbor. If folks take out permits, we go act on active permits in the county. So we have to pick it up by July 31st of each year. So there is a cutoff time for new construction also. You want to make sure you get it all gathered up and entered by August 31st to get it in everybody's taxing district so they can add that value to above their 1% that they can levy against. It is today's cost put in the computer system to build, today's rates for Marshall and Swift. So we go out, we measure the house. It's all based on square footage. So quality and condition and how the house is constructed. So we do act on building permits to go out and do new construction every year.
In the last minute or two, go ahead, look at the camera there and talk to the voters and tell them why they want to bring you into the assessor's office.
Well, I know I'm reliable. I'm a hardworking individual that would like to work alongside their staff to get everything updated and moved, completed on time for timely assessment. So in the end, everything's accurate. I know that a good example would be the current treasurer. She didn't close her offices on Friday, so she's always up there helping, her staff. She can work and receipt taxes to keep them up to date, and she'll even go in on the weekends, and that's what I'm willing to do.
She's running to be the next Mason County assessor. It's Patti McLEAN. Thank you.
Thank you.